Hello and welcome back to London Cycle Routes. Today I'll be showing you how to cycle from Kensington in West London to Westminster in central London. This ride takes about 15 minutes and you can do the whole thing on quiet streets and protected cycle lanes. As you can see from this city mapper screen, it would take about 25 minutes to half an hour to do on public transport. It's a journey I've had to do many times and it's actually quite annoying because the Circle line is so infrequent, so it's actually a really good one to cycle to save time, as well as being a really nice ride. If you enjoy watching this video or you find it useful, then do make sure you subscribe to the channel by hitting the red button below. I post new videos just like it every week. Alright, let's get going. So we're starting on Kensington High Street, which is a horrible road to cycle on, but we're going to go right up Kensington Palace Gardens, and you just need to ride at this security gate, and it looks like it won't open, but it actually does open for cyclists. And that'll get you onto Kensington Palace Gardens, which is a road with lots of embassies on. Now, I did come here once and it was actually closed off because of a security operation of some kind. I think they were moving an ambassador or somebody from nearby Kensington Palace, and there was a big police op going. But every other time I've been here, and that's hundreds of times, it's been complete public access, so you should be completely okay there. Now, head into Kensington Gardens, which is the western end of Hyde Park, and you've got these big shared paths. They're very wide. Obviously, be careful here because this is a shared space with pedestrians, so you don't want to ride too fast, you don't want to ride too close to anybody. You need to be courteous and aware of your surroundings, and do give people the right of way. You more or less go straight across this junction, but if you're not sure where to go, it's actually the only path that doesn't have no cycling written on the ground. You're not actually allowed to cycle on all of the paths in the park, so it's really just this one. So by the process of elimination, you should be going this way. This one is a little bit too narrow for comfort, I'd say. And also the Royal Parks has installed these annoying little rumble strips in, which basically give you a hard time no matter what speed you're going, and I think are actually quite dangerous when it's wet and icy. I've definitely seen people stack it. I used to commute this way. I do actually find it quite funny. If you look to the left of the rumble strips and to the right of the rumble strips, you'll see a little dirt track in the grass, and that's because people just tend to cycle on the grass to go around them and to bypass it. I don't do that myself, but you can't really blame them. Personally, I would rather be cycling on protected cycle lanes down Kensington High Street, which were put in during the first lockdown, and then Kensington Council took them out almost straight away, so those need to come back, and then you'll be able to go that way. To the left and right of the path there, by the way, are good examples of what I was talking about with the bypasses around the rumble strip. Now, we're coming out onto the West Carriage Drive, which is quite a busy road through the park, but fortunately it has a decent protected cycle lane all the way along it. This is part of Cycle Superhighway 3, which is really TfL's flagship route. It actually leads all the way to the embankment, and it's more or less the way we're going to go. You want to turn off down here, and I recommend going slowly around this blind corner, as people do have a tendency to jump out. There's actually a few different parallel routes to go west-east through the park. You could go down Rotten Row, which has a cycle path on it, but I think this is the best one. This is a dedicated cycle track. It's really separated from pedestrians, it's separated from traffic, it's got a smooth surface, and it's really just quite a nice place to ride. You can see that large tower coming up on our left, by the way. You might be wondering what that is. That's actually Hyde Park Barracks. Believe it or not, it's a high-rise barracks, and it was built so that the household cavalry could have somewhere close to Buckingham Palace to stay. The architect is actually a guy called Sir Basil Spence, who also designed Swiss Cottage Library, the University of Sussex, and Coventry Cathedral. And those are all very fine buildings, so kudos to him. And talking of the cavalry, on our right there, we're passing a unit of them. Funnily enough, actually, this road actually had a horse ride before it had a cycle track. So on the left there's like a dusty path. That is a bridleway or a horse ride. You are, by law, allowed to ride a bike on a horse ride because it's a bridleway. And you can ride a bike on a bridleway. I don't really recommend it in this case because there's a much better surfaced road just here to the right. But, do make sure you watch out for the signals, by the way, because these are all pedestrian crossings, so for people to cross the road. It's interesting to see a segregated protected cycle lane on this road, actually, because it is currently a very quiet road. I think the reason for that is because the Royal Parks have been trialling shutting the gates, which removes some of the through traffic from this road. So that's why there's a cycle lane here, even though there's not really very many cars on it. So just coming up to the end of our this particular section, what you want to do is we're going into a shared space with pedestrians, and you can use this toucan crossing here. Obviously be really careful. Now, it used to be that cycles would go through that arch and pedestrians would go on the right, but at some point the layout was changed here and pedestrians and cycles were mixed. I don't think that's a good development at all. It was much better when they were separate, but you can still do this great thing here, which is riding through the Wellington Arch, which I really enjoyed doing. It always feels like you're sort of flying in formation. I feel like there was a separate crossing here before as well, and this was turned into a mixed crossing. I don't really agree with that either. When you're going down Constitution Hill, make sure you go down this path, which is to the right of that black fence. If you accidentally go on the wrong side of the fence, there is no opportunity for the entire length of the path to flip back, which is a bit of a design flaw. I don't really see why they don't just put a gap in the fence, but there you go. You'll occasionally find sort of lost families of tourists wandering on this side of the fence, making the same mistake and being unable to get to the other side even when they realise where they are. So yeah, do be careful as you go down there. Maybe they could put more cycle symbols on the road there just to highlight it. Be careful as you go down here. People do have a tendency to run out to see Buckingham Palace. But yeah, you're in a sort of a semi-segregated cycle lane here. Make sure you pay attention to the signals, which are giving us a green wave, which is really nice. These little wands here separating the cycle lane, they are actually removable. They were put like that so that they could be, after some wrangling between TfL and the Crown Estate, they were put like that so that they could be removed in the case of state occasions when the entire road needed to be clear, so like for the Queen's carriage to go down or something like that, which I guess is nice. I don't know, it's a good solution anyway because it's a decent lane. And we're on Birdcage Walk, which is a really nice name for a road. And yeah, you might be thinking, why are there all these segregated cycle lanes? There's not really many cars about. These roads do get a lot busier actually, and you'll be thankful for the cycle lanes during rush hour. If you're commuting between these two places, they can get quite rammed. On my left, by the way, is St James's Park, which is a lovely park, and I really recommend going there and checking out the pelicans, which were, I believe, a gift of the Russian ambassador at some point, which is interesting. By the way, that pedestrian crossing that I stopped at, I don't think it's actually a zebra crossing. It's just an informal place for pedestrians to cross the road, but you know, you might as well let people across if you're not in a hurry. There's really no harm in doing so. Now we head through these security barriers, and straight ahead of us there's Big Ben, looking about as good as it's going to look, because when we get past those trees we'll see that it is covered in scaffolding. How long that scaffolding is going to remain for, I do not know. And we're in Parliament Square, so we're really at our destination here. Make sure you follow the lights, and crucially hit subscribe on this channel for more videos just like it, of often a lot more complicated routes than this. This is quite a simple one, but I thought it was worth showing it off, and you know, not everybody knows about it, so yeah. Do comment below to let me know what routes you'd like to see next. I do take requests, and yes, the map is also available in a link in the description, and you can download GPS and GPX files in that link as well for the app or device or whatever you use. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and see you again next time.